Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'm going to interject my financial opinions as we go. And if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. That's where I dive deeper into these sectors, deeper into commodities, individual companies, my strategies. You can see when I'm buying particular things, as I've got a history, and we've got midweek updates, and we've got question and answer sessions on the weekend. LEAP is still the coupon code at this time, and it will go to May Day soon. So let's dive in here. Let's take a look and see what's going on today. We've got the DXY. Again, this looks really strong for the dollar, and there's that clear breakout for the dollar. Looking good on the weeklies, and the daily, we had a pretty strong move today, up 0.6%. This to me still looks very strong to move higher. Yields are, I think, the driver of this move in relative strength of the dollar because DXY is just being measured against other currencies. So when we look at yields, the 2-year yield still looks strong to me. And it looks like we could be going higher, higher, higher. That's what I'm seeing. So people are selling bonds, or the government is overwhelming the system with bonds and nobody wants to buy them, and yields continue higher. 10-year yield also getting a pretty big move today. We were right on support. Still looks good to go higher. And that's going to put pressure on the overall stock market. The rate of change that these yields move will impact the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and that could also impact the commodity sectors. But this still looks good to go higher in the short to medium term. Still looks good to go up. And then the 30-year also going higher, 1.23% with the bullish engulfing. Looks like it's going higher. So that's going higher across the entire curve. Up, 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 up. We've got TYX, TNX ratio. It is inverting. So that's the 30-year versus the 10-year, and it has stayed pinned downward, inverted. And this is one of the longest times, I think, that we've been inverted for this long. It's up there. So generally speaking, it's good to be buying precious metals where these circles are at and then holding on for the ride. We've got bond prices. Again, yields up, bond prices down. And that still looks like we've got downward momentum. And then the 2 and 10-year, we uninverted a teeny bit with yields going upward. But again, for the most part, we've just stayed inverted this entire time. Gold getting hit pretty hard, down $54 an ounce. This is a continuation pattern, and we'll see what kind of follow through we get with gold to the downside. A lot of the times when you get these kind of big movements, you may get some consolidations, pullbacks as we go. Silver also selling off. This is a flag pattern that's selling to the downside. We could be doing a return move down into the $25, $50, $25 range. Definitely a possibility. We've got platinum also selling off today. It doesn't look that bad compared to yesterday. It looks like a big bloody nose. And that one is still underneath the trend line resistance. And I just want to make one thing on silver. We are above support. That is a big deal, and we'll probably go back to this support level. Palladium, a little bit of selling pressure today, down 1.75, but we did put a wick at the bottom. I'm looking for a potential turn or sideways move out of palladium here in the short term. XEU to gold ratio is pulling back, down 2.7%. Gold and silver mining companies selling off more than gold itself, but we are above the trend line there on the monthly. You zoom in, you could probably pull this thing up and hit the tops here, and we are very close to breaking on the daily price tops here. So we're real close to a breakout. You have to look at where we're at in the cycle. I know that we had some slowdown in Chicago PMI, which is the manufacturing index. And this does look like we are getting a slowdown. It's basically stagflation is what we're getting. We have inflation at the same time that we are slow for the economy. CRB index getting some selling pressure today. I know oil was down, is down, and maybe we have a little bit larger pullback in the short term. We zoom out, you can see that selling pressure today. Quite a bit of selling pressure there. We've got the CRB index in relationship to the S&P 500. We were up a little bit today because the S&P went down more than the CRB index. And we're still in this flag pattern. We haven't broken out yet. No breakout yet. We've got GDX down 4.75%, has not broken out of that upper trend line here. We're getting a little bit of a potential reversal candlestick, and we'll see if that sticks and if we get some downside momentum here. We do have a bearish engulfing here. We tried to break out again, and we got rejected here and sold back off. And again, we'll see if we can break it. GDXJ down, but we have broken through the trend line here. So maybe we've got a return move or something like that. A lot of the times when I play these guys, I really only have a couple of buy points here. So when you come in, here and here is where I'd be buying, and I really just kind of ride it. I don't think people can predict the short-term market movements, so I don't try to. But if it were to get down here again, I might be a buyer again. SILJ also selling off 5%, but we are above support. We have broken out, and a lot of times you get a return move. Now, that doesn't mean every time you get a return move, and that's what makes investing a little bit more difficult, because everyone is very, they think that they're going to get these return moves and that things will just behave the way that they think they'll behave in their mind. What I do is I just buy it when it's in the corner and then wait as long as the market conditions are good, which I think they are for silver and gold. Crude oil getting sold off today, 1.25. It's not a horrible day. We do have a little bit of wick at the top. We are above support in that $81 area. And again, we'll see if we get momentum to carry us lower into the bigger, deeper support area of about 78, 79 bucks. But again, we'll see. Let's take a wait and see approach here and see if that momentum carries. This could go either direction. TTF gas moving on up, bouncing off support. Again, this is above a lot of support, horizontal and this near-term one. Doesn't look that bad to go higher. Natural gas in America right against resistance. We'll see if we can bust through that. We're right in the thick of it. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, getting some strong selling pressure. Now, I kind of suspected that this could get sold off. It's a possibility. We came down with stronger momentum, and we were really struggling to come back up. And here it is, the resultant. Now, we got to work this momentum off. It's a pretty big down day, down about 4.2%. We are above support of the neckline. We're above that support. So on the big, longer-term time frame, I think we're going higher. In the short term, in that short-term time frame, we do have some downside momentum that needs to get worked off. OIH also feeling the pain. And again, I suspected that. If you go back and look at yesterday's market update, it's basically a flag pattern that could bring us back down here. Ride it, baby, ride it. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust holding on, down only 0.27%. Not a confidence-inspiring pattern, though. To me, it looks like it still wants to go lower. And the equities are definitely heading a little bit lower there. So that's what I see at the moment. URA also getting some selling pressure. We haven't broken out of the pattern yet, guys. Here's a trend line coming up, and there's the resistance line, and maybe we can work our way on up and break out. But Again, the yield curve is inverted. Things are slowing down in the economy. And I think it depends on how much inflation's out there and what they're doing with printing money and trying to control all this stuff. URNM also getting some pretty strong selling pressure, and we're right up against resistance. Are we going to get a larger pullback out of this? The weekly looks pretty weak. If this closes the week strong to the downside, possibility that we could head lower. URNJ also getting some strong selling pressure. We're still in the pattern squeezing up, but we did get a pretty large selling pressure candlestick. It was looking pretty good yesterday. I was like, oh, maybe it's got a shot at breaking out. A lot of the times we get a three hump consolidation, kind of a weird looking pattern here. Is that 1, 2, and maybe we get a third over here? We'll find out. TAN doesn't like the strong rates, strong dollar, selling off 3.15%. Not a strong looking chart at the moment as we've broken to the downside. Copper is looking like it's trying to put in a reversal candlestick. It's a bearish engulfing, so sideways to lower is what my guess would be for copper in the short term. We have broken, and we might get a return move in this. COPX selling off a little bit stronger today, down 4.7%. Doesn't look too bad. It's holding on. Maybe a little bit of a reversal in the short term. Lithium down. This is a little bit more sensitive to rates. I drew this on the monthly there, it looks like. But probably more like this. There's a bunch more support through there, but sold off today there. We have REMX also selling off today, 3%. I'd like to see what follow through we get tomorrow. We've got the S&P 500, does not look that great to me. It still looks like we've got a lot of selling pressure that wants to head on lower in the short term. NASDAQ also looking like it wants to head lower and that this is potentially just a flag pattern. Something like that. So downside pressure there, KRE, a little bit of downside pressure there. I think there was a bank failure or something like that that occurred. You guys want to search it. But moving sideways there with KRE. Emerging markets doesn't like the stronger yield, stronger dollar, down 1.4%. XHB also doesn't like it, and it looks like it wants to go lower in a inverted flag pattern. We've got MOO down a little bit. Is this an inverted flag pattern where we head down to like 69, 70 bucks? Could be a possibility there. We've got iron ore down just a teeny bit. We had a big gap up yesterday. That looks to me like we want to go higher in iron ore for this. We've got nickel also down slightly, but this still looks good, in my opinion, to go higher. Pretty strong, looking like a bottoming pattern, putting in a higher high and higher lows. Aluminum down a little bit for the day today, and it's consolidating sideways. A nice big move, momentum to the upside, and maybe we'll put in a flag pattern or something like that. We've got Baltic Dry Index down a little bit. Weirdly, iron ore has been pretty strong, and same with coal, but it's right there at support. Coal's up 3%. That looks really good to go higher. Coal looks really strong there. Probably following TTF nat gas. Bitcoin looking like crap, down about 5%. That does look like we could potentially head lower. We've broken out of the pattern to the downside, potential retest move, and we might head lower here. Ethereum also doing it, down 7.7%. Breakout to the downside could be a flag pattern. We'll see if we get any follow through tomorrow on this selling pressure here. SMCI also down 3.5%. To me, this doesn't look that great, guys. Lots of bearish candlesticks, big selling pressure moves, and it seems like it's struggling to go higher, which makes me think we could head lower. Same with NVIDIA. There's a lot of bearish engulfings up here, lots of big selling pressure candlesticks, which lend itself to me to think that this could potentially roll over it and sell off. The pullback, we'll see how big it is. This could be the bear trap. Or sorry, the bull trap, I should say. But that's what I've got for today, guys. Thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you guys want. And that's all I've got for today, guys. So Hopefully, everyone's hanging in there. Hopefully, and we'll catch you guys next time. This is Finding Value.